Hey everybody. Sorry for being more late than usual today. Tried to give some warning, push the stream a little bit. Had some things I needed to get taken care of before we started, but now we're here. We are ready for chapter 1118. And go ahead and pull the chapter up here on Viz, as always. Feel free to follow along. Apologies that there was no video last week and all we had was the stream. It was just an especially busy week. I wanted to do something, but I just couldn't work it in. And then I didn't really have an angle that wasn't like just chapter specific and like mostly gushing about Gin returning. So it felt like if I just put that out, it was going to spoil immediately, because by that point, spoilers for this chapter were already out. But, I am working on other videos and things, and eventually, I don't know when or whatever, but I might try and switch the focus away from the, weekly analysis and try and, like, do more generalized videos that are more focused on theories. I mean, I'll still, like, do... I don't know, I'm not saying that that's going to be anything immediate, but at some point, just have content that I'm like constantly sort of working on that comes out that's like really focused, that I'm working on for a while, rather than trying to jam, like all of my thoughts on one chapter into a video in 24 hours. It's not super sustainable. But I still want to get content out for everybody. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in chat. We're going to get started here now. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Let's get these likes up. Okay. Chapter 1118. The most free, which refers to Luffy's phrase that the Pirate King is the man who is the most free on the seas, which is apparently a semblance that he shares, an idea, creed that he shares with the former Pirate King, Gold Roger. We have Yamato eating a bento box as they start their pilgrimage. The journey begins. We've got some people saying bye. Looks like Tama and Toko are there. I can make them out. The wrestler dude, I can make him out. I guess that's Kinemon and Suru in the middle. I'm just assuming. Alright. Moving on to the next page. Okay. Starting off with the Marines, they're saying abandoned ship. What's that monstrosity? What is... Oh, the Iron Giant is about to fall on one of the ships. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Beep beep, that name. Ooh, okay, we're getting a little bit of like the Mr. Prince smoker transmission here. Where? Is the ancient robot sentient? Is that who's saying where? Okay, next page. Yeah, Joy Boy, where did you go? This is giving Zunisha, which I did say last week that or 2 weeks ago, that the ancient robot, the way that Oda drew its eyes was exactly the same way that he drew Zunisha, and now we've got, just like Zunisha, this sort of telepathic message coming from it. So this is all things that will, these are all things that'll really come to a head when we get a Void Century flashback. You know, we'll probably see Joy Boy with the ancient robot, with Zunisha, or if these were actual people that were, you know, turned into other things, you know, like it's very possible, you know, I think someone brought it up last week, like what if the ancient robot is just someone that was affected by the Habi no Mi, which of course, you know, that user would have died, and then the effects of it realistically should have worn off, but if Oda wanted to retcon an idea like that, then, you know, that would be something interesting, and we know that that fruit has to generate a pact, or has the ability to generate a pact. So if the curses that Zunisha and potentially the ancient robot are under are because of some sort of spell or fruit like that, then it would make sense. All right, so we have the ancient robot falling into the sea. Want to see you. You were there, Joy Boy. Strange, so strange. Okay, so again, there's some sort of connection between Joy Boy, Zunisha, and the ancient robot that they all share, where they're able to sense Luffy, or sense Joy Boy within Luffy, just by, like, him being there, which is interesting. What is that? Now that's amazing for scaling right there. Like, Topman, this view of Topman is insane. Like, that dude is, I don't know, he might be 200 meters. Okay, next page. All right. Technical issues. He was saying something. Okay, this is what we talked about. I said that at the beginning of this chapter, we would definitely, like, cut to a bunch of people complaining about the message. Because that's, I mean, that's just general storytelling. If you're building something up, and then you don't give it to the intended recipient, then you have to show the intended recipient's reaction to not receiving the message. Okay. Would have caused the transmission to stop? Why would Vegapunk have died in the first place? Okay, we're on Alabasta. Shout out to a young goat named Koza. We've got Toto there. That might be Frafra in the back. We've got a President Hamburger lookalike also. Oh, and that's probably that kid that, I don't remember his name, but the kid that saw Mr. 2 change, standing next to Koza. That's probably him. Alright, someone assassinate him. He did say he had committed some sins. You think the world government had him erased? You don't think the world government had him erased, do you? No way, did you already forget? Luffy was the one who was holding Vegapunk prisoner. If anyone did it, it's obviously a pirate. Come on. People of Alabasta drinking Kool-Aid? Huh. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We went to Whiskey Peak. Oh, man. First in-story reappearance of Mr. 9 and his child with Miss Monday. Is that Miss Katharina in the corner there? It might be. That's insane. I love that. All right. Whatever crime Vegapunk might have done, the government would never eliminate the greatest genius in the world. Then we're in Dressrosa. We've got little Leo drinking the Kool-Aid. Rebecca, reminding him to stop being so gullible. That's good. I love that. Now we're back at Egghead. York, next page. Okay. Definitely one of my least favorite characters in this arc, York. Huh? What? How many Vegapunks are still alive? Vegapunks, aside from me? The number of people accessing punk records is 2. Okay, so now they're going to start targeting Lilith and York, it would seem. Lilith is on this floor. Atlas is at the northeast shore. Should we eliminate them all? Yes. Okay. Even with the Stella dead, Punk Records is designed to continue growing. York's development benefits us. But we need no other geniuses. Okay, so they are committed to saving York. That was definitely part of the discussion of, like, after all of this, do they still feel that they need her? And they feel that they do. Next page. Okay, set sail. Giant warrior pirate ship is out of there. Barrels through some marine ships. Okay, Dorian Broggie, let's go. Jump on board. Okay, they actually do get onto the ship. That's crazy. I fully expected something to stop them from getting onto the ship. Alright. Made it back. Of course we did. Ga ba 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 ba. Luffy. Okay, so Bonney is on the ship. Woo! We're on the giant ship. Sanji's there. It's huge. Is Usopp here yet? What about Chopper? Oh, wow. This is fun. Okay. After them. Don't let them get away. We have too many ships for this. Okay, giants are too strong, and more importantly, are you alright, Vice Admiral Dahl? Bluegrass and Dahl. And the Sea King. Well, the Sea Beast, I mean. It's like a toy. Oh. It's like a robotic Joffrey, the mascot from Toys R Us. R.I.P. Toys R Us. Sucks being so powerless. What a ridiculous ability. Okay. Next page. So, Dahl's looking up at Bonney. You were setting yourself up for trouble when you let me escape, Navy. Alright. We got Oimo and Kashi. Wow, Luffy remembers their names. That's insane. Okay, this is Sanji. We're already sailing. Nami has it looking up there. Leave. Next panel, we've got Nami and the Going Merry still riding across the clouds here. But if it looks like we won't make it, help. Of course, even if everyone else sinks. I'll do anything to save you and Robin and Lilith. Okay. Frankie's committed to saving the ship. Something's coming at them from the center of the island. Looks like it might be Marcus Mars. Next page. It is. Okay. 5 elders again. Yeah, it figures they wouldn't give up yet. Oh, so is this finally going to be Sanji versus Mars? This is what I've been waiting for. I have wanted this. Come on. Hey, wait a sec. Are you Straw Hat Luffy? You got the giant warrior pirate chef here, apparently. Captain said I should cook a bunch of food because you eat a lot. So serve it to you guys later. Sorry, I need it now. Please cook some more. Okay. 2 rando giants stop the Boro breath from Mars here. Protect the puny humans. Next page. Come on, Sanji, get a hit in. Bjorn, Sig. Okay. Alright. We got names for two guys. We're gonna be looking up some Norse myths on these guys. Put out the fire, get water. Okay, what is that monstrous bird? We should move Vegapunk and Daddy. Don't let them get burned. Do they still have Vegapunk's body? I guess that's all right. Yeah, we're definitely doing some sort of Viking funeral with them. Dory and Brogy are ready to step in. Guess we got to do something about those monsters after all. Fly, it'll keep chasing us. We need to get another hot cocoa sovereignty. Mars starts vamping. Frankie's a little worried. An earthquake? Oh wow, Luffy is... Full power Luffy is affecting the water?
You loyal.
That's crazy. Raro said Whitebeard stuff. Yeah.
It's about to get spicy.
First this sound starts and now we're floating above the water. Honey. Whoa, Nika? Who's that anyway? Hey, that's a festival rhythm. Stop dancing and put out the fire, dummy. Let's go, you want to beat these guys up, don't you? But I can't, just look at them. I don't know how your powers work, but you can do it. That's what I look like when I'm free. Distorted future. Future where I'm the most free. Deity flame and all. If I'm not surprised, it's because I've already talked about her being able to do this. I've basically just been waiting for this. Literally made a video about this that basically no one saw. It was one of the worst performing videos I've done in a year. Alright. Don't worry, Ginny, I'll raise your daughter. Now you've got it, Bonney. What is that? Whoa. Yeah, I did it. Oh, and they're both huge. That's crazy. Let's go. Strange presence. Act quickly. Then we've got the giant robot saying there. Guys, it's all coming together. Page 12 and 13 here. Another very short chapter from Oda. But, yeah, I mean, my big theory, you know, like, to tie this into headcanon and other theories that I've had on the channel is that the Nika fruit is one of the most dangerous powers because it can do this. Whatever Bonney is being able to tap into, whether it's her age or anything, or not having, like, mental blocks from people telling her what she can't do, Nika is able to inspire people to, like, reach their full potential, which this may be, like, a level of awakening that every devil fruit is actually capable of reaching. And this is how we got things like Sulong, to show that it's not just Nika that's able to tap into this, that, like, once you allow yourself, you should be able to reach these heights, and that the Tamate pills were the government's response or someone's response to trying to emulate this in a negative way. Like, to cheat and get this without putting the work in, without actually being the most free. But I basically said, you know, I was like, don't be surprised if we get, like, Nika Bonney, Gear 4th Bonney, Zoro Bonney with 3 swords. Give me a Zoro-like future. And it's just everything everywhere all at once, where she's just able to tap into this timeline where she's able to, you know, just have the acumen to handle that sort of style. You know, a Sanji-like future. Suddenly, like, her kicks are crazy powerful. Or, you know, she knows how to cook a meal randomly. She's got her fruit might actually be more broken than Luffy's, depending. I don't know. But then again, Luffy can now manifest things in thin air like goggles and stuff. Devil fruit Wi-Fi. Oh man. This is definitely the 4 elders right now, though.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
My guy Ty said, IRL Joy Girl, aka Sophie, pointed out that the Giants seem to be the only faction that can hear the Nika drums. Okay. Let's take a look at that. No. I don't know what the TCB, you know, said, but here you can actually see Marines saying, first this sound starts, and now we're floating above the water. So the Marines can hear it too. Water rubberized? I mean, if they're bouncing on the water, then yeah, Luffy has legitimately rubberized water. Which is a feat that, like, that cannot be understated. It's legitimately insane.
You loyal.
Shout out to Alejandro Salas, member for 13 months, who said, check Kuma's Bible. It has a white Nika woman on it. Well, Kuma's Bible, you know, I already know Kuma's Bible's got, you know, the woman on the front. And it's always, most people have said that it, looks like what we saw of Nefertari Titi, Vivi's mother. So it could be Lily on the cover of the Bible.
You loyal.
But it could also be someone that is the most free, which apparently might be the way to describe this now. Benjamin Schutz, member for 23 months, appreciate you, said, "Hey Captain, could it be that Bonney transformed into Nika because Luffy could imagine it, and that Bonnie's transformation is basically a feat for Luffy?" I think that there's the possibility for there something to be working in tandem here, but considering that we have seen Bonney try to do a Nika-like future before, or now completely turn into a giant, I think that her ability is really just based on belief. And I think that this is actually the secret ability of every devil fruit. So while they're all different and they have different properties, I think that they all stem from the same idea that if you believe it, you can do it. And, Oda really hammered this in with the Zoan dinosaurs, right? Because Oda is he has a PhD in paleontology, so when you see, the king stretch his beak back and shoot a laser, and say that's what they did back then, the king has no way of knowing what they did back then. So, he's just kind of guessing. He believes it. Because he believes it, he can do it. Because Sasaki believed that he could be a helicopter, he became a helicopter. So it's... And based on what Vegapunk was talking about in, what was it, 1066, where he's saying, he basically says, you can do it. This also goes back to 218, 219, when the ship falls, and we see the quote from the physicist, Willie Gallian, whatever the guy's name is. And it's just he basically says, anything that you can dream in this world is possible. And these are all things that are just so emblematic of what Oda is trying to tell us in this final saga. If you think it, you can do it. Here, you actually see the mental process on page, 10 of
Savage.
Luffy giving her the inspiration. Saying, I don't know how your powers work, but you can do it. And then she does it. And
Savage.
This also doubles down on the same idea that I've had, where it's just she's so young. No one has been able to tell her, you can't be a giant. You weren't born a giant. You can't do this. You can't do that. These are things that children are told every day in the real world. This probably comes from Oda being told, hey, you can't be a mangaka. That's really hard. You can't do this. You have to go be a doctor. You have to go do this. Whatever happened in his life, I don't know. But this is Oda's way of saying, you can do this. You can do anything that you put your mind to. You want to do it, just go and do it. And here, this is that to an infinitesimal degree of just Bonney having just every single opportunity at the palm of her hands because she's so young. This is Oda talking to the young readers. Boys and girls that are, the age that I was when I started reading this. Trying to tell them that you can do anything that you put your mind to. And now we see that Bonney just goes ahead and just turns into Nika. Year 5 Bonney. It's so ridiculous, but it's like I didn't even bat an eye. I wasn't surprised because it was just like, yeah, of course this is where the story's going. This is what he's been setting up. And it's legitimately insane, but like all the clues are here. All of them. Jack said Morge was saying something about how Bonney might be OP for now, but when she gets older, the possibilities for might be more limited. These are things that I've already talked about. I've been talking about that since Saturn grabbed her and said, something to the effect of your belief is wavering, so your power is waning. Right before the Kuma flashback, or was it right after it? I can't remember. Anyway, when Saturn had like Bonney in that grasp, like he said something where it was basically like it was a foundational point in all of these ideas. It gave a language to how I had been feeling and what I had been thinking, and it was just like, yes, this is it. Saturn just spoiled us all. If you believe it, you can do it. That's it. And if she doesn't believe, she can't. And as she gets older, she has an infinite amount of timelines that she can go into, but yes, as she gets older, it's going to narrow. Knack D, appreciate the super, said wasn't here for the live, but we'll check the replay. Like D stream, love you, Randy. Thank you, Knack. Appreciate you. Seal Vlad Ivanovici, appreciate the super, said, could the broadcast be blocked by water? We know part of what Vegapunk had to say. We don't know what he had to show. The Iron Giant reemerges. Well, considering they're snails and the water is salt water, salt is not good for snails. So, I don't know if Oda's going to go that far with the science of it all, but he probably will. And so I think it's all done for now. I think we're done with the message, and we've got to get it on our own now. And just wait for Saul, Robin, Vivi to deliver it to you later. Shout out to 00 Flevens for rejoining. Appreciate you. Bakangamo said, my theory is that Bonney has the dream fruit. My theory is that all devil fruits are the dream fruit. Okay, Growth Stocks did a two-parter here. Appreciate both supers. Said, part 1. The red line was possibly originally green, hinted in Anel's cover story with multiple green snakes. The red line is made of interlocking islands. So just discussing part 1. If Oda is, going deep into the Norse mythology, and if that's going to tie into the end game, then the red line could be a reference to Jormungandr, the world snake that wrapped itself around the world and started eating its own tail. So if he were to reference that, then you might be onto something with the multiple snakes and, red line made of interlocking islands. Possible as well, could be a thing where every piece of land that got flooded and destroyed got mashed together and became the red line, but um, it's going to be really interesting to figure out like how the red line was constructed in the first place, because it is immovable, it is indestructible. Obviously, with Laboon, ramming his head into it and not doing any damage at all, not even making it chip or crack. So after how many years of ramming his head into it, so it's yeah. Part 2 from Grotstocks. The Emerald City was the capital of the ancient kingdom called Lunaria, a giant floating sun, like Witheria, meant to grow the green line with the Tantatas. I like the green line. I like that. Lunaria would be interesting. I still want the Emerald City to actually have been Alabasta during the Void Century, and that certain events dried it up, so that it's a reference to Vivi talking about Erumalu, saying that it used to be lush. Well, the whole land used to be lush. And then when we go to Jaya, immediately following Alabasta, we have Bellamy saying the Emerald City. And it would make sense if he was talking about the island that we were just at, considering during that era of the story, I wouldn't expect Oda to be planting seeds so far in the future yet, because he's still like in the mindset of, I want to finish this in 5 to 7 years. So setting up the Emerald City as something we've already seen seems more appropriate to me, but the Emerald City should come up. It should not be a throwaway line from Bellamy. Three-day trip said it's like Kuma's been holding an image of his own daughter this entire time if Nika is on the Bible. That's fun. Let's see. Desdar100 said, this sort of reminds me of the 90s, where a lot of cartoons had a younger protege of themselves, sort of like Tiny Toons. Yeah, but that goes back even, further into the 60s and 70s and even 80s. Like that was it wasn't just a 90s trope. But I mean, talking about Tiny Toons specifically, like that was more of what would be the right word for that? I mean, they were more. I don't know the word I'm looking for. I can't find in my head, but it's like Bugs and was it Buster? Right? It's been so long. Like they're two completely different characters, but they're designed similarly. Like they're surrogates in a way. They're not. You didn't really see a lot of stuff like Bugs and Buster, and so it's
loyal.
But then you have things like the Godzilla show from whether it was the 70s or the 80s, and then you have Godzilla and Godzuki, and it's like that is like a literal just smaller version of Godzilla, a goofier version, the sidekick. So I think I get what you're saying, and yeah, this does kind of remind me of that. AJ said, sorry, I'm late. Always on time. Whenever everybody's here, you're on time because it's about to be that time. 00 Flevens, super appreciate you, said, give me Bonney, world's strongest swordsman future. I'm telling you, I see it. I want it too. I'm telling you, we'll get her. Just, you know, if she's in a battle and there's a bunch of swords, she will pick them up and say, give me a Zoro-like future, and she'll just be like doing Santorio, and I need Zoro to just kind of look at her and be like, what are you doing? Or just smirk and, you know, or make like an Enel face. Like, I don't know, but I do love this, and I don't know, it kind of makes me want to have Bonney stay with the Straw Hats so that we get more things like this. Max Speck said, I had a theory that the whole if you can believe it, you can do it doesn't just apply to Bonney in the OP world. We've seen a bunch of things that people just do because they believe they can. Yeah, this is, and I was actually referring to that earlier when I was talking about the minks, because they don't have devil fruits, but they also can essentially turn into Nika. So there are things that people can do if they believe. And matter of fact, the devil fruits were born from regular people believing and manifesting their dreams into a fruit that allowed them to even, you know, take their dreams further, essentially. Shout out to Benjamin. Wow. Appreciate the lavish bracket activity, my friend. Benjamin said, I really hope that Kuma still has some form of consciousness so that he could see his two dreams come true, seeing Nika and Bonney be free. We need some... We really do need some Kuma consciousness. And I trust that Vegapunk left something in there.
Savage.
But he's definitely on his last legs. Like, he's totally dying. Like, even if you see him here, like, we're getting all of the, like, this big happy moment with Bonney, you know, going Nika. And it's juxtaposed, like, literally on the page. You're seeing happy Bonney, and you're seeing Kuma basically standing there like, oh, I'm done. I'm cooked. Like, this man is so cooked. He is going to, he's gonna die. They're gonna be riding away on the giant warrior pirate ship, and he'll have, like, his final moments with Bonney. It'll be, I wish I could take you a little further worthy. I trust that Oda will do it that way. He'll die right then and there. And we'll have our Viking funeral for Kuma and for Vegapunk. So Ben, I don't think Oda's going to he's not going to not give us that. We'll get that. Oda knows what he's got to do. He's got to create the most emotional impact. So he's going to wait until the very last moment to show that there's a little bit of him still in there. And I think that the moment that we do see that, which we're kind of getting a glimpse of it here with him actually remembering Ginny and his promise to Ginny. When he speaks, when he says something, he's either going to die that chapter or like within, the like whatever couple of chapters that happens. Alejandro Salas says my agenda of Leo being the traitor in the final war grows. You telling me Leo's gonna be the squad in the final war? That actually kind of goes hard, and I could see Oda doing that, and it would be so devastating. Like Sakazuki goes over to Leo and it's just like, don't you know this? And then Leo stabs Luffy like Squard stabbed Whitebeard. But Luffy just hugs Leo. Or like pats him on the head or something. Or takes his hat and just drops it on Leo. And it's just like, don't worry, buddy. Damn. Because this isn't the first time that Oda has shown Leo question Luffy and then have to be like reminded about this. Alejandro's cooking. He definitely just like, I think he just spoiled all of us.
Someone cooked here.
Nomad Vagabond said some YouTubers hated the aspect of her being able to do anything. I find it inspiring and helpful for the Straw Hats and the story. Well, which particular YouTubers are upset about this? Because they might need to come on for Theory so that I can explain to them what story they're reading. Jack said, what if in facing her greatest fear, she goes for the bravest future and grows a long nose? It's wild. Guardian Trees, super, appreciate it, said, Bonney, Yamato, Vivi, Lilith, and Tama all going to Laugh Tale with Luffy, plus Sabo, as he is the narrator of One Piece. Sabo being the narrator... that goes kind of hard. I could see Bonney, iffy on Yamato, definitely Vivi, iffy on Lilith, and as much as I would love it, iffy on Tama. Unless we go back to Wano. Like if we go back to Wano to like collect Pluton or stop someone from getting Pluton, then I could see us, like, grabbing Yamato, Kinemon, Tama, and Momonosuke or something, and, you know, they all come into the final war, and you know, like, they're a part of Laugh Tale. But as it stands now, I don't see a situation where we pick them up. Lilith is an interesting one, because while I'm iffy on Atlas surviving all of this, I do believe that Lilith will. And I don't know if... I just don't know what she does, where she stays. Does she stay at Elbath and, like, continue reading all of the books or something? But really, she should have all of that information because she's part of Vegapunk.
Gotta have it. Racks, I gotta have it. Beat my fabric.
See, that's so wild.
See this jacket? Pay my taxes. Trust me, you can track it.
Shout out to Big Ty. Appreciate you, brother. Lavish bracket activity spotted. Drop those W's. AJ. Lavish bracket activity multiplied. Oh my god. Appreciate you guys. Ty said, sorry for interrupting, Cap. You're good. Ty said, Benjamin's beat woke me up like the Iron Giant. You mean this one playing right now?
Do you see this jacket? Pay my taxes. Trust me, you can track it. Savage.
Where's the button I have where it says that song belongs to me? Oh man, I really gotta reorganize my buttons. They're just all over the place. It's so hard to find the ones I'm looking for now. Anyway. Ty said, had to pull the phone out of my pocket for that one. Could this new power-up be another indication of how strong the final fight would be? What up, Savage Crew? And AJ would a hundo super said sup Ty. I do think that this is an indication of how strong the final fight would be, but I also, and I've said this before, like, which is why I wasn't surprised about this. Like, don't be surprised if, like, everybody pulls up on our side looking like Nika. Like, you'll have Nika Nami, Nika Sanji, Nika Usopp. Like, everybody on the crew will be just Gear 5'd. You'll have all the Sulongs. It'll all like start to coalesce and make sense, and then if the the side that we're fighting gets a hold of like the Tamate pills or something, like they will all also be Gear 5'd up, but they'll be doing it the wrong way. There's a chance that happens. There's a chance that happens. I wonder if Shanks already knows how to do it. Like some of these top tiers, like can they already tap into that? Was Roger able to do it? Shout out to Pass. The super said, do you think Bonney being able to turn into a Joy Boy future increases or decreases her chances of being on the crew? It's still like a 49-51% situation where it's like she's either joining the crew or going with the Revolutionary Army at some point. But let me just say that my personal feeling where I was leaning more, she needs to be with the Revolutionary Army. After this, I'm personally leaning more like I would actually enjoy her sticking around because I want to see more of this, and I want to see her ability to do this inspire the rest of the crew to somehow be able to do this. Like, in particular, the Devil Fruit users. So the first ones that should be able to tap into this are Chopper, Robin, and Brooke. Like, they should be able to figure that out. And then if, like, out of nowhere, Usopp is the next one to do it, then the rest of the crew will realize, wait, can we all just do this? Barry said, I'm hoping Kuma dies with even the smallest smile on his face. Need that. Barry also supered and said, because I have to rep my dollar menu bracket. Hell said, bro, that Neil clip always gets me. That's why I don't know. That Neil deGrasse Tyson clip, like, I had to find that. I had to make it a button. Like, it's not even a green screen. It is just what it is, because it exemplifies, like, what it means to just hit the pinnacle of life. Like, when the chapter really hits, you gotta break out Neil.
Mr. Oda, that's another banger.
While you're at it, yeah, bring out Recon. And bring out the coach. AJ also supered earlier saying, it is the passing the torch trope. It was popular with Saturday morning cartoons because they found it increased sales because kids could see themselves. Yeah, this is why a character like Robin in the Batman franchise was even created. Because in the 30s, you had Batman, he was a little dark, but they wanted to target the comics towards kids. So they created Robin, and then suddenly a younger audience had a character that they could see themselves in. So whereas, and to that degree, that is something that helps Bonnie for Straw Hat, because whereas, we're all older now, we're identifying more with the crew, and maybe even some of the other characters now. Like I was speaking about earlier, the younger generation that he's targeting to. This is what it's there for. This is also why I pushed for Tama for Nakama, basically for the same idea that younger audiences needed a character, an apprentice to sort of see themselves as. And for a long time, we had Momo for that in a way. Not that I think Oda effectively used Momo prior to Wano, but this is a chance to sort of make up for that and hit that mode. Brandon King, member for 24 months, said 2 years. Because Nika can now be shared, Who do you expect to get to temporarily use it? Robin angel form to contrast Demonio. Brooke reforms body with Gear 5. Ooh. Well, I was just talking about this. But I can't wait to see Robin's form with it. And it's interesting to contrast the Demonio floor. Brooke reforming his body is actually like an insanely awesome idea. Because if you can manifest anything, why shouldn't Brooke be able to like manifest his skin? That's so crazy. I want that. Because if you can believe it, you can do it. If it's just I want my skin back, I want my face back, why shouldn't Brooke be able to do that? That's crazy. I love that, Brandon. I really do. Some people might think it's cheap because, you know, like it, you know, he's a skeleton, you know, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Let's see. So Cole didn't like it. Jay had mixed feelings. Adamus said, "Oh, did you hear about Sabo's voice actor just bowed out of the role?" No, I didn't hear about that yet. I wonder if he recorded, you know, whatever eventually becomes 1085 before he bowed out. Like, does he have another episode, or are they, you know, just gonna go ahead and re-record everything?
Savage.
Logan Balaguer said, "This is like if Krillin could go Super Saiyan." You know what's crazy is that when I was a Dragon Ball fan, like all I ever wanted was for like Yamcha to go Super Saiyan. Like legitimately. Like as a young Dragon Ball fan, like that's what I wanted. So Oda doing something like this is actually speaking to young Randy in a very like cathartic and meaningful way. So Brandon King said, "How would you feel about a story where Nico Robin becomes Batman's Robin and Batman's Robin became a Straw Hat?" Now, are we talking about like DC Batman, or are we talking about Batman from Wano? Like, because one of the biggest missed opportunities, and one of my early Wano theories, was that Robin was going to fight Batman, and I wanted it to happen, and it never did, and I'm still mad at Oda for not making it happen. Like, Batman should have just appeared in Onigashima, and Robin should have just clutched him out of the sky. Like, it only needed 2 panels. That's it. It just needed 2 panels. It never happened. I'm still salty. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna get to all the supers and everything. AJ said Brooke might want his manhood back. Hey, you know, I don't blame him. 0011 said Usopp pulling his fingers back like a slingshot around his nose and his pulling his fingers back like a slingshot and his nose is the scope. That's wild and awesome. So that he just makes one up. Ooh, you're cooking, man.
Someone cooked here.
Everybody's cooking. Brandon King, super sick. Gear 5 Brook. But I do have eyes. Random said, remember when the anime made Batman a high diff fight for Luffy? Yeah. Bro had all 3 types of hockey, and that's where the meme Wayne D. Bruce came from. That I started. We even had a Wayne D. Bruce emoji for a little bit. I think it might still be a sticker on the Discord. Wayne D. Bruce. Let's see here. Vasil Vladivanovici supered said it. I believe Bonney will revert Garp to his prime in his fight against Blackbeard, where he will die, but he'll die smiling and standing. That's crazy. Prime Garp? You get Prime Garp, Prime Rayleigh. I'm breaking. The chances of this stuff, it's just making me break, guys. Year 5 Jimbei, he becomes a paragon of freedom, literally, said Brandon. This is... It's too crazy. It's too crazy. I'm gonna send love to the chat today.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I appreciate you guys. This is a great chapter. We're having a great discussion. We're coming up with some really like interesting ideas. Like I feel like this is like, you know, if I can get a video out for this chapter, like I feel like it's got to be all about this. It's got to be all about, you know, this Straw Hat, Nika abilities and things like that. It's too crazy. You got it, the Dr. JR, or the Dr. Junior. Okay, new. You're good. Adamus.
Another one. And another one. Another one.
Have I seen episode 1109? No, I haven't had any time. Guys, I've been so busy. It's wild. Like I didn't even have enough time to like shoot a video last week. It's crazy. Um, Barry said, was the bigger bow quote always there for gifted subs? And I didn't realize it. It's brilliant. Um, yeah, it's set for like 5 or more. So, that's I put that there a long time ago. Yeah. Ty said, "I'm prepping for my own All-Star game. I'm prepping for my own pop out." Ugh. And everybody's invited but Drake. Pop cult parent member for 3 months said, "Will the robot come back with 2 Nikas powering it?" But can it swim though? Can Luffy bounce it out of the water? Like that would be the crazy thing, because I don't think it can swim, and I think it's too heavy to stop itself from sinking. But if the water trampolining like pushes it up, that would be insane. Could the power of Luffy and Bonney affecting the water unearth things that have fallen 200 meters? We're getting wacky, but what we're reading is wacky. Jacob said, "One Piece is not the best series for power scalers since fun and narrative are the priority." I try to tell people, but hey, it's not on me to ruin the agenda. Some people, they like getting caught up in it. And sometimes I find the fun in it. But at the end of the day, facts is facts. And the facts are narrative and fun. That's a priority. And even then, it was shared in the was it the Discord, or did I get or was it on Twitter? I don't know. Someone brought back up. I think it was Kami Animas. He was saying that bringing back Oda's interview. It's like in 2022 before starting the final saga, and he was basically like, yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, this is not like word for word what he was saying, but he was basically like, at this point, like, I just want to make the story as fun as possible, and if people are upset with that, I don't care, because I'm gonna have fun. And I think that he did it before like doing Gear 5, so it was almost like his way of like prepping everybody for like things are gonna get wacky. Shout out to Vasil Vladimirovich, who said Aesop was a slave famous for his fables, of course, yes, including The Boy Who Cried Wolf. This is all stuff that Usopp is based off of. I believe that Usopp will end up a slave in Marijoa, where he will spread the gospel of Luffy, Nika, Joy Boy. Now that's wild. I love the drama of it. I don't like the idea of Usopp, like going through all of that. Right now, I'm more concerned as to what's going to happen to Zoro, because Zoro and Jinbei are the characters that are so far behind everybody else. And we do need an Impel Down 2.0. Like, is there a chance that like Impel Down 2.0 happens because some of our crew ends up getting captured and going there? Like, it's a crazy way for the story to go. I had talked about it during Wano of like, what if Luffy went to Impel Down and was the ace, and then the crew had to go and save him? But now it's like Zoro and Jinbei are so far away. Like, could the Gorosei capture them? And then it's Jinbei and Impel Down again. That's kind of like, that's old hat. But Zoro being there is kind of interesting.
Another
And then
one.
him being the main character for the breakout with Doflamingo and some of these other characters could be interesting. Diante Black said, "Bros want Usopp to be a damn slave." Yeah, I'm not co-signing that. I'm just saying. But I do see the like the main point that Vasile is bringing up is the connection to Aesop, which I think will actually come out even more in Elbaf, because what he's going to be doing is, like, in Elbaf, we're going to see Usopp be a storyteller. We have to. And there's so much stuff in Norse mythology that'll tie into that. So I don't think that the slave part of it has to be the key factor, but more so just the storyteller part of it. Shout out to Random for joining the channel. Appreciate you.
Another one.
I'm laughing at Desdar 100. That's great. Let's see. K-News said, unless giants tell stories to other giants about Usopp. Well, I think that's what we're eventually going to get to. Like, that's going to be the culmination of what Elbaf needs to be. Is that whatever Usopp does in Elbaf will create a new story. And it'll be, like, a continuation of what happened in Dressrosa, where, like, a statue was erected in his honor. Everybody, misinterpreted what he, was saying, and now he's God Usopp, right? But I think that he'll be very tied to Loki, God of Mischief during Elbaf, and if Oda, drops the ball and doesn't make Elbaf and Usopp, at least partially Usopp-centric arc, because Elbaf will be a Luffy arc, don't get it mistaken, with everything tied to Sun God Nika and everything like that. Like, it's going to be Luffy at the top of it all. But in second and third place, I need Usopp and Robin. Robin because of Saul and everything there, and Usopp because of everything with the giants and all of that. Logan Balaguer said another fastball special and Jinbei swims to catch up. I mean, that'd be great too. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Pop Coal Parent. It's about to get spicy. Oda.
It's about to get spicy.
Yeah, I really hope Jinbei doesn't sacrifice himself again as well. That's what has me like worried that he's the one with Zoro. And that's the only thing that I think is like keeping Zoro safe. Because I don't think that Oda will retread the same like storyline and idea. Because that would just be, it's old hat. We don't need it. So let's see here. Taking a second look at the chapter again, we've got the robot sinking. I really enjoyed seeing Koza and Toto again, as well as Mr. Nine, Miss Monday, Miss Katarina, Leo, Rebecca, and then whoever this chef is. He does, he does look like one of the guys from like the Whiskey Peak fight, but Oda's never given that guy a name. So they're putting their focus on Lilith and Atlas now. We got back to the ship. Doll and Bluegrass are now young. Luffy remembered two people's names that he met 2 years ago, which is like insane. That's character growth right there. Considering like he never actually said Dory and Brogy. He just said, it's you guys, the Giants. Like he didn't remember Dory and Brogy's names, but he remembered Oimo and Kashi. Like, that is insane to me. He never said Dory, Brogy. He literally just said the Giants. Luffy's at full power off the Elbaf meat here. We got the names of two giants, Bjorn and Sig, which are definitely the at least two of the three guys that were pushing away Mars. Hold on. A little bit of chair piece, and then we'll get back into this. And I also want to look up Bjorn and Sig and what they did in like Norse mythology. Be right back, guys. Okay, we back. Shout out to AJ who said, if you like the stream, Dad will come back with the milk. If you don't, he might not. Well, thanks for liking the stream, guys. That's what brought me back.
You never know. I might have one left in me.
All right. So then they start feeling an earthquake. It's Luffy affecting and rubberizing the water. We get Nika Bonney.
Savage.
And then a focus on the robot. And then is this the robot, like, bouncing back to the surface? Because that, like, you know, we talked about that, but, like, the way the robot is drawn after we were talking about that, you know, is kind of conspicuous. It's, you know, it's kind of like, hey, what's going on here? Okay. So let's see. I am going to do a little Googling here. Sig Norse mythology. Zoda doesn't just pull names out of hats. Okay, so okay, so there's three. Google is giving me three possibilities. Sigyn, which is the wife of Loki, a trickster fire god. Her name means victory giver. Best known for catching the poison that drips from a serpent above her husband's head while he's being punished. She holds out a bowl to catch the venom, but eventually leaves to pour it out. Loki shakes so violently that the planet shakes each time she does this. Considering we get an earthquake the following panel, so, you know, maybe. Process repeats until he breaks free and sets Ragnarok in motion. Then there's Sif, which MCU fans would remember Lady Sif. A giantess, goddess of fertility and grain, married to Thor, in the Rosetta, not the MCU, like the real myths. And then what I think is actually the most likely is the last one here, which is Sigurd. This is definitely who this character is based on. A legendary hero of heroic legend, a descendant of Odin, which I believe Odin will not be involved in Elbaf, but will rather be one of the names of a giant in the Void Century. Sigurd's name comes from Old Norse and combines the words victory and guard. So we have him shielding the crew here, so he's a guard for the crew, and is known for killing a dragon. What the Itsumade could be considered a dragon here. So, So Sigurd is known for killing a dragon, sometimes called the Fafnir, and for later being murdered. So if we have some giant deaths in Elbaf or in the Final War or anything like that, Sigurd, just like Ashura Doji, his lore leads to him dying. I just looked up what a Fafnir looks like. It looks like a pretty generic dragon. The resemblance to the Utsumade is just mostly that they have, you know, beak-like face and wings. Okay, so Sig is definitely based on Sigurd. And Bjorn will be the next one we look up. Bjorn Ironside was a Norse Viking chief and Swedish king. According to the 12th and 13th century Scandinavian histories, he was the son of notorious Viking king Ragnar Lodbrok, and lived in the 9th century between 855 and 858. But Bjorn also has ties to Balder and Thor. And in the television series Vikings, they did a lot in regards to this real life character. One second, guys. Okay. Catching up on the chat here. Jen said, I know Sigurd from Soul Calibur. Oh, man. I don't even remember any of the characters' names from Soul Calibur, which is crazy. But I remember Soul Calibur 2. Which one was on the GameCube? Because that one, like, I abused. Like, I played it all the time, and I don't remember anything. I played as the female character with tonfas. That was my favorite character. I don't remember her name. I know she used tonfas, and I was really nice. Miles said Egghead has us in pre-time skip levels of jubilation. It's an S tier arc. I mean, the cameos alone are like carrying the arc so far. Like it's everybody's here. It's just every single chapter for the past year has just been
Here comes a new challenger.
followed by
Here comes a new challenger.
just threw a bunch of names that really took me back to the Soul Calibur days. Talim, yeah, that sounds right. Yep. That was my main. I'm a huge like arcade fighter guy. Like that's my first video game was pretty sure the first video game I ever played was X-Men versus Street Fighter in an arcade in like 1993 or something. Maybe it was the X-Men one where you could be, you know, you can have 4 people playing it. 92, 93, I don't know. I did see the Marvel vs. Capcom arcade collection. I did. And it's funny the timing, because like I've been talking for years, literal years, that I've wanted to get like an arcade 1-up cabinet for Marvel vs. Capcom. And I wanted to get the Marvel vs. Capcom one, but it didn't have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on it, but I loved the design. Then the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 one came out, but I hated the design of it. So I was like, man, can they, you know, are there ways to customize this and all that? It was like, it seemed so ridiculous that like Zangief, of all characters, took up like 90% of the side of the cabinet. So then the X-Men 97 one just came out, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this one. And Chrissy got it for me for Father's Day. So now I have an arcade cabinet, something I've wanted for so many years. So shout out to Chrissy. It's really fun. And then like 2 days later or whatever, they announced the arcade collection on the Switch. So that was like that's a big deal for me. I love arcades. It took forever to build. It took me like 5 hours. Insane. Yu said, learn what not to clean it with. My unsolicited 2 cents. Please. More. Tell me. Yes, Chin. 5 hours. I took my time. I wanted to make sure I was doing it right. I wanted to make sure it was all set, and I was building it by myself. So let's see here. So, my predictions for 11/19 right now would be that we obviously have to start where we're leaving off, because this is too powerful of an end to like go somewhere else. We need to see the execution of what this Nika version of Bonney is actually going to amount to here. So, whereas I would love for Sanji to like take out Mars, it does seem like this is the dual power of Batman and Robin here. Like Mars is going to be their first opponent. And I would... But see, now this is the thing too, is they haven't been able to hurt the Gorosei. So they could push Mars back, but what is actually going to like keep him at bay? Or do we learn that 2 versions of Nika will be able to actually damage? And it's like, the more you have, the stronger you all become, because the rhythm gets stronger, and that's why they've been trying to suppress Nika for so long. It's because if he inspires people to keep turning into, you know, the most free versions of themselves, they'll be able to actually break through whatever armor they have. I don't know. It's a little wacky, but that could be a fun reveal. And I think we'll see the Sunny drop down in 11/19, and we'll need an update on Zoro. Probably get 3 pages of Zoro next week. Because if we're wrapping all of this up and we're like literally getting out of here by probably 11:20 at this point, we're gonna need to know what's going on with the stragglers. And then hopefully we can also get, you know, our characters to change clothes again, because this is ridiculous. I can't keep looking at Sanji in this awful fit. Like, I will internally dance with glee and joy and ascend when Sanji gets out of this outfit and puts a suit back on. I also want to know how Bonnie's power works. Like, have we been told yet if there's a time limit on when she changes somebody? Or, like, is Doll and Bluegrass, are they just, you know, 12 now? Until she reverts them? Because if it's like Law's ability, like when Law cuts you in half, like you're cut in half. And as we now know with Kinemon, like, if you're not put back together by the operator, you're just affected forever, apparently. Time limit, but they never say how long. Can you use hockey to counter Bonnie's aging? That's interesting. In theory, yes. Bella Flowen said, can't arrest a 12-year-old for war crimes. Tell that to the Gorosei. Tell that to the world government that arrested a 12-year-old for war crimes. Literally had her captive and she got away. They actually had her arrested for existing. You know, use a gentle all-purpose cleaner, a soft microfiber cloth to wipe down the exterior of your game cabinet. Even paper towels may cause scratching if your machine has plexiglass. Good to know. Thank you. I'm committed to just keeping that thing safe. I've wanted it for so long. Jen said title 1119, Tom and Jerry. Did you get that idea from my shirt? Okay. Ha! Yeah. Barry, Robin was wanted dead or alive since she was 8 for war crimes. KCC said if she can do anything, then she should just choose a future where she's unbeatable. Like, it's all just dumb. I think you got to look at it from the perspective that it is intended to be inspiring. Oda is trying to inspire the youth. Sure, is there a logic of, like, if she can do this, then she should do this? Like, yeah. Which is why I say, like, well, she should be able to instantly learn Santoryu and learn whatever she needs to know. Like, she might even be able to say a Robin-like future, and suddenly she knows how to read the poneglyphs. These are things that could happen. But hey, you know what? That's just that's the world we live in. I'm taking the story chapter by chapter. This development does not bother me. And among, you know, different things in the story recently that have, you know, like that didn't necessarily sit well with me. like especially skipping over a bunch of stuff that we should have seen. This is good. This is fine. Pop cult parent, I kind of see it as everything everywhere all at once. Devil fruit, she can tap into alternate universe versions of herself. Yeah, that's exactly how I explained it in my video on this many months ago. That's exactly how I described it. I said that it was the everything everywhere all at once devil fruit. That is exactly what it is. She is just tapping into alternate universe versions of herself. And there may be a possibility where everyone, everywhere, can tap into everything everywhere all at once as well. Miles said Luffy's greatest power set is bringing people to his side, inspiring leader. Bonney can transform to a future she thinks is possible. Luffy gives people possibilities and believes in them. Orbital said it's mimicking. We still don't know if she has any power in that state. People need to chill and let the mangaka decide the story. She'll have power in that state. There's no point in doing the transformation if she can't also tap into some of like the crazy abilities. So don't be surprised if we see her stretching and affecting the things in a rubber way, you know. She could also potentially be thought of like as Morph or Rogue, you know. We were talking about X-Men earlier, you know. It's like it's not necessarily Mystique where she can only change into someone, or like, you know, Mr. 2. It's more so what people think Katarina Devon is able to do, which is, you know, transform into people but maybe also use their powers, which I'm iffy about. But I think that Bonney can do that. I think that she can morph into different things and utilize abilities that she doesn't have access to, with probably a strict rule being that she can't, you know, become a Logia and change into something like that. But KCC, you are entirely free to have the opinion, and you know it's a fun part of the discussion to, you know, talk these things out. Not everything in the story should be expected to resonate with everyone. And it's completely fine if, you know, a development like this is not something that you agree with or others agree with. Obviously, people were talking about the King of Lightning and Jay didn't like this. I do. That's not me shilling for Oda either, because I constantly say what I don't like in the story. This I just don't have an issue with. ACC said the shark has jumped, boys. Don't have to wait. The thing is that this exact thing has been foreshadowed. Enough for me to predict exactly this several months ago. So... That's the reason why I'm not going to sit here and say this is jumping the shark. Because I already predicted this. I saw that this was what Oda was setting up. This is everything that this arc has been leading up to. It may even be what the story is leading up to, which is why I'm even more on board, because I see the pieces of the puzzle all coming together, that the entire world will be able to potentially do this. Tyante said, so if Bonney has this ability, what will Emu have? The dark version of this. The only problem with any of this is just how withholding Oda is with the parameters of this. So for most people, I could totally see where they're seeing something like this and feel like it's coming out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from? What is this? We can do this now? And it's like, Oda has been subtle. Too subtle with this. Like, I predicted this from context clues and like little lines here and there and different things where I was like, okay, I think this is where he's going, but he was never overt about it, and he never like really explicitly stated it, because he wants things like this to garner the reaction of, what? We can do this now? And then when you go back on a reread, you kind of see, oh, okay, this was all leading to this. And sometimes it helps if there are explanations for these types of things, and we just don't have those yet. But meanwhile, like, I don't mind this, and I like this, but you know what I do have a problem with in retrospect? Everything that Vegapunk said in his speech. Because at this point, like, I don't even think we needed that. Or at least exactly what we got. Like, it was too much telling, not enough showing. It was fun seeing everybody around, but it's also like, I'd rather see it in the Void Century flashback at this point, or I would rather have our crew be the ones to tell the world this stuff. So it's, you know, there's gives and takes, and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Miles with the lore, he's entirely correct. For those who don't know the idiom "jumping the shark," it does reference a Happy Days episode where the Fonz water skis over a shark, and that's where the term comes from. And it's basically, it's been used since the 80s to describe when a show lost its magic, lost its mojo, like ran out of ideas. So it's just like, oh, they jumped the shark with this one. But I don't think that this is jumping the shark. Jacob said Morge thought the speech was not impactful to the average person and served no purpose for them. You two should discuss. I'm inclined to agree with Morge on that one. Whatever the people actually needed to hear wasn't in that speech. And part of me is like, good, because Robin can do it, but then also it's like, why are we setting this up? The only point of the speech is to let the average person know, hey, things aren't exactly what they seem in this world. And so now everybody's ears are perked up. There's a little more critical thinking in the, all of the blues and in the Grand Line. But the average person wouldn't have any frame of reference to understand, like, okay, the world was flooded. Like, what? Okay, I'm going to go do my laundry. There needed to be something more. There needed to be like a call to action at the end of it. Something that inspired the islands to rise up against their oppressors and the people that did this in the first place. And the speech never got to that. So that's what I'm disappointed about in retrospect. Because that's what I was expecting. And it's not that like, oh, my headcanon, like, no, I think it's like what we actually needed in the story. Because as it stands now, really, it was just Vegapunk doing a bunch of yapping. Like, it's just like, okay, for us that analyze the story, like, cool, we have some context for some things, but it also feels like I was spoiled on, like, stuff that's going to happen in the Void Century flashback that would have been way cooler to see the characters at play put those things in action rather than have it be told to me. It's kind of like how I was when I was reading the Kuma flashback, and I said these things during my reaction where it's just like, man, I wish I didn't know so much about Kuma's past before the flashback. Like, I wish I never knew he was the king of Sorbet. I wish I never knew that, he was called, I don't know, maybe that he was called the Tyrant or something. But it's like his connection to Sorbet and being a king could have been something that was like really interesting to discover in the flashback. But it's like, as I'm, instead of just reading the flashback and enjoying it for what it is, I'm mentally trying to do these gymnastics of, okay, but when is he going to be the king of Sorbet? When is this part going to happen? Is Oda going to remember and like do all of these things? And all of the things happened, but it was like, I was jumping the shark, in my own mind, trying to get to these, these elements. It's kind of like, I saw the movie Furiosa recently. Chrissy and I went to see it. Both of us hated it. If you liked it, that's fine. I thought the movie sucked. It was like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I loved Fury Road. But the entire time I'm watching the movie, I'm just like, okay, when is she going to lose her arm? And it's like that, and it's just that in the back of my mind. And it's like, it's those types of things that makes it really hard to enjoy media sometimes, because I'm constantly just like thinking about things like that. And that's where I wish, it's like, if you've seen Fury Road, it's like you see that Charlize Theron's Furiosa character doesn't have an arm. So this younger version of her is like obviously going to lose the arm in the movie. And, spoilers for the movie, but like I'm not going to tell you how it happens, but it doesn't happen until like almost the end of the movie. And it should have happened earlier, in my opinion. Just like, get it out of there. Show the character struggling with this, and and then like kind of get some story from that. But hey, whatever. It is a prequel problem. Yeah. It's like being spoiled, but inside the story. Yes, Random. Spencer said, oh god, a Morge theory for theory would be insane. Basically Roger and Whitebeard class. Morge and I have done 2 theory for theories so far. And they were good ones. I enjoy having Morge on the channel. Jacob said, damn, people were saying Furiosa was a must-see. Nah. A lot of people like it, but I have major critiques for it that I'm not going to get into for spoilers. I didn't mind bringing up the hand thing because it's like obvious if you've seen Fury Road. It's like trying to tell someone like, hey, Anakin's going to turn into Darth Vader in the prequels. Yes, Chin. Chrissy didn't like it either, and she is a huge Fury Road fan. Like, huge. Talking to Cole about it would be fun, but we did just have him pretty recently, so you know, I don't want to. While I would love to talk with Cole, I'm like, I gotta spread it out a little bit. But these are things to think about. We have a chapter next week, so I don't have to worry about it now. But there's enough stuff to like really get into like some theory for theory stuff with somebody. So I should think about it early so that I can get it all situated, though. Will of Dreams said, was Hemsworth funny? He looked good in the trailer. The movie should have been called Dementus, which is Hemsworth's character. Like, he's in the, I don't know, I want to say he's in like 90% of the movie, and Furiosa is not. There is no break. Am I going to AX? I don't know. I didn't get tickets. When is AX? Is it soon? I might miss this one. I don't know. Joy Girl loved Nika Bonney. Well, she should. It's Joy Girl. This is her chapter. Now that would be fun, actually, because Joy Girl literally happened. We get Joy. I've tried to get Joy Girl a couple of times on the channel, but the time difference is so drastic. You know, like we wouldn't be able to stream at the normal time. She, like, this time right now, she's asleep. So it would have to be, I don't know, like a Monday night or something. Which would be like Tuesday morning for her. Or it would be a Sunday night, Monday morning for her. Or a Saturday night. Saturday night seems probably more appropriate. I don't know. AX is July 4th to 7th. Yeah, probably not going to be. AJ said, glad I skipped Furiosa. I thought it had the Black Widow problem. A movie that should have come out before the tentpole. Yeah. It definitely did have that problem. But it also, like, the biggest problem about Furiosa is that it didn't say anything, and it didn't have any purpose. It just exists. Whereas, like, Fury Road, like, you know, there's like this constant danger and conflict. Furiosa lacked that. It just exists. And it didn't enhance Fury Road. And if you're going to do a prequel, it's like you have to, it's got to be something that like goes into it. And there's like, I'm not going to get into it, but there's a moment that happens like midway to the story where another character is introduced, and it's like that's the interesting part of the story, and that only lasts for 20 minutes, and it's like it's just you're focusing on the wrong part of the story. So AJ said the movie Black Widow came out after Endgame. She had a very unsatisfying climax in a prequel movie. Yeah, but you know what? I didn't hate Black Widow as much as most people did. I actually really enjoyed it because the chemistry between her and Florence Poe was, I thought, top notch. And David Harbour gave a good performance. I think they kind of dropped the ball with Taskmaster a little bit. But I think I agree that it's a movie that would have killed if it came out earlier. I don't think that Black Widow is a bad movie. It's just plagued by the placement of where it happened and the fact that it never actually it didn't go to theaters, right? It was just a streaming only movie. So, but I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's serviceable. It's not amazing, but it is not bottom MCU. I think I actually would say it's like upper middle MCU. Yes, it should have been before Infinity War, but they didn't know what they were, doing and what their slate was, and clearly they don't know now. As we continuously wait for a Blade movie that was announced 5 or 6 years ago. Andrew Knoll said, wow, so it's mid. Literally, upper mid, though. Upper mid. What's my bottom MCU movies? Thor, Dark World, Thor 1. Thor 1 might be bottom. Eternals isn't great. Ant-Man 3 wasn't great. Madam Web isn't an MCU movie, Brandon. Like, I'm not throwing the Sony movies into this. I feel like I'm missing something. Jin said, I did not enjoy Far From Home. So, Far From Home is a great first watch movie, in my opinion. But it doesn't work on a rewatch. It's a movie that doesn't really have rewatchability. But I think it's for where it stands in the timeline of everything, it's good, and I love Mysterio, so I like the movie, but whereas, like, I was like, wow, this movie's so great when it came out. When I rewatched it, I was like, kind of drags now, but Iron Man 3 is, I don't know if I'd put that at the bottom, toward the bottom. I'd say it's probably low mid, but Homecoming works on a rewatch, though. Homecoming, I'd actually say Homecoming is the best out of the 3 MCU Spider-Man movies. I put Homecoming above No Way Home. We'll probably start wrapping up soon, because obviously we're not talking about One Piece anymore, and people are probably leaving. But I mean, it's like, it's fun to do this stuff too. I'm gonna look up a list of the MCU movies so that I can see which ones are at the bottom. Let's see. All right. Iron Man is probably top 5. Iron Man 2 I didn't like at first, but on a rewatch I really liked it. So that one's kind of high. But if you asked me like a couple of years ago, I would have put it towards the bottom. I need to rewatch the Edward Norton Hulk, but I remember really liking it, but I don't know how it holds up now. Thor's pretty bad, and it's mostly bad because of the cinematography. I don't know what they were trying to do, but it just, I don't know. It's so sloppy. There's so many Dutch angles for no reason. Chrissy loves Captain America: The First Avenger. I'm not the biggest fan of the first one. Whereas Winter Soldier is top 5 MCU. Maybe, probably top 3, maybe top 1. Iron Man 3 is okay. Thor: The Dark World is bottom 5. I feel bad saying that. You know, it's like, I don't know. I probably shouldn't say a lot of this because I know some of these people that made these. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's top 10. Age of Ultron, surprisingly better on a rewatch, but probably bottom Avengers movie. Avengers 1 is probably top 10. Doctor Strange, upper middle. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, middle. Spider-Man Homecoming, top 10. Thor Ragnarok. I didn't hate it as much as people. I would just put it kind of in the middle, upper middle. I don't know if it'll work on a rewatch for me, but for whatever space I was when I watched it, I enjoyed it for what it was. But I can see why people don't. Black Panther, top 10. Infinity War, top 5. Ant-Man and the Wasp, that's Ant-Man 2, right? Lower middle. Captain Marvel, pretty low. Endgame, top 5. Far From Home, middle, upper middle. Black Widow, middle, upper middle. Shang-Chi, middle. Eternals, bottom 5. No Way Home, upper middle. Hot take. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of... Oh my god. That's my number one worst. Number one worst. Number one bottom MCU. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That's the one. That is the one. No other MCU movie comes even close to being as bad as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That is the worst MCU movie. I will say it with my entire chest. Terrible, 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 terrible. Oh my god. Oh wait, when I was talking about Ragnarok, I meant Love and Thunder. When I was saying like a lot of people hated it and I liked it, Love and Thunder. I actually do like Love and Thunder more than I liked Ragnarok. That is one of my MCU hot takes. I know a lot of people have Love and Thunder probably in their bottom 5 or anything like that, but I actually think it's upper middle, and Ragnarok is like lower middle. Wakanda Forever, probably middle-ish. There's things that I liked. There's things that I didn't like. It just sucks that Chadwick's gone. Quantumania, bottom 10. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, top 15, 20. The Marvels, bottom 10, 15. Yeah. There we go. I just took 10 minutes and ranked the MCU in a One Piece stream. No, not even Thor 2 beats Doctor Strange 2. Multiverse of Madness destroyed one of their best characters, Wanda. Absolutely flayed one of their like best characters. Destroyed everything that they had built with one of the the most nuanced, layered, strong female leads that they had for no reason. For no reason. And they also thought they were being clever, but they neutered anyone's opinion on Reed Richards. So it's like when Pedro Pascal comes in with like the Fantastic Four, a lot of people are going to have a hard time like taking him seriously after they saw John Krasinski get, you know, turned into pasta. Double O Flevin said, "Thank you, Randy. Do you like The Watchmen?" I do, and I like the TV show too, even if Alan Moore didn't. I'm catching up on the chat while I was saying all that. Miguel, Secret Invasion thoughts. First episode I thought was really good. I thought the death at the end of the episode was like a powerful choice, and then the series did not live up to earning that decision or any of the other decisions that it made. Secret Invasion should have been a movie. It should have not been, 6 hours or whatever it was. It should have just been 2 hours, compressed, easy, and I think it actually would have been something palatable for fans of the MCU. But by stretching it out, ruined it. But it also needed a better third act. Even if it was a movie, the third act would have had to change. Winter Soldier was so good that the toys are collectibles. That's great. I did not enjoy working on that movie, but I'm glad I did. Dash said, I was really happy with the fights in Shang-Chi translating to an anime live. Yeah, the fights in that were great. Jin said, I like Love and Thunder too and dislike Ragnarok. Yeah, I always feel like I'm in the minority with that. AJ said, was America Chavez really that bad? Yes. Yeah. I'm sure she's a nice, person and all of that, but she was not, it didn't work for me. Just catching up on the chat. Jacob said more MCU rankings take hours. I did it in 10 minutes. I said Randy needs a third channel where he comes this close to breaking his Hollywood NDAs while speaking his mind. Oh god. I have my opinions on the movies. That's it. Those opinions don't reflect the the individuals that worked on them, even if I was one of those individuals. Dawn Knight was like, what I missed? Sounds like I missed something huge. I just ranked the MCU on a One Piece stream. Like all the movies. I just went through all of them. Chin said, wish you could work writing on X-Men 97 Season 2. That would be really cool. I would actually prefer to do something with James Gunn's new DCU, though. I'm way more of a DC person than a Marvel person. I mean, I love Marvel, but it's like, it's always DC than Marvel for me. Jacob said, Randy, film discussions are fun too. Post One Piece, we need more film content. I mean, that'll probably be exactly what the channel, like, it transitions into, is this. Like, if we don't have One Piece to talk about anymore, like, we'll talk about this. Talk about movies, whatever. Thoughts on Invincible? I still need to watch Season 2, but I loved Season 1. I'm currently watching The Boys. I finally got around to watching Gen V in anticipation for The Boys Season 4. So I'm looking forward to the new episode of The Boys this Thursday. Emil said, what DC would you love to work on? Maybe something like Batman Inc. I would want to write Batman movies and like incorporate the Bat family, like not just make everything about Batman, because it's not just Batman. But another thing that would actually be really fun is Firestorm. Like, no one's ever done it yet. I really like Firestorm as a DC character. I think that that's something that could, really make for an interesting movie. That would appeal to like a lot of different audiences, but would be like insanely expensive though. Probably one of the most expensive superheroes to ever exist, as far as like film is concerned. But like, I already have ideas on like what Batman movies should be and things like that. That's the thing, exactly, Barry, manifest. Leonardo Martin said, the new Batman will have Damian Wayne, so Nightwing and the others must exist in the new universe. Yeah, my issue with that is, I think any iteration of Batman should be seasoned and in his 30s. I'm over all of this, 30s or 40s, but probably 30s so that you can get a trilogy. But I'm tired of year one Batman. Like, there is this obsession in Hollywood with gritty, realistic, like, this guy's just a man Batman, and I don't agree with that. And I feel like Batman's best quality is that He is a man in a world of gods. He is a man in a world of metahumans and really weird stuff. And it is the fact that he is a man in all of that that makes him interesting. So by just putting him in these stories where he's just a man up against another man, that doesn't work for me. That's why I think the Nolan movies are not that interesting. Even though I also worked on one of those. They, like, The Dark Knight is literally the best film that happens to be a Batman movie, but I don't think any of the Nolan movies are Batman movies. And the person who got it the closest, even though it didn't amount in working, was Zack Snyder, because he finally put Batman in a world where he was surrounded by all of this craziness. And Ben Affleck had the gravitas to carry that. Christian Bale's Batman wouldn't have. But you have to put him in a situation where he is up against things like Man-Bat, or, you know, like these weirder sci-fi horror elements, you know, these mystical, magical, you know, like just godlike metahuman things. And that's what makes it interesting, that he is the man going up against this thing. So that's what I hope happens. But what I'm worried about with what James Gunn is doing is that he's going to Damian too early. Damian is something that I would work towards. In an ideal situation, I would be okay with starting with Tim Drake, and you already have Nightwing, and you're building up, like, well, not, no, I would want to do the Jason Todd thing too. It's tough. In a perfect world, you would have a thing where you know, you have Batman, you have Dick Grayson, you get Nightwing, now you're doing it with Jason Todd, you get Tim Drake, and then you eventually make it to Damian. But if we're skipping over all of that, I don't know. Tim Drake is my favorite Robin, so I would actually, that's I'm biased there. I would rather actually just prefer to see Tim Drake. There's a lot of story that you can get out of a Damian and you know, Bruce storyline, and that's why it's interesting to James Gunn, because no one's ever done it. I get it. But I feel like you're missing out on all of this, like, prior, like, really great Batman stuff. Like, you're just coming into the world, and now there's Batgirl, there's Nightwing, there's Tim Drake, you know, maybe you've got Spoiler in there, and, like, all these, you know, Batwoman, and you have, like, this entire Bat family, and it's like, you shouldn't neglect those characters, but you also shouldn't neglect the powerful storylines that have come out over the years that haven't translated to the screen, because everybody's been so focused on just Batman. But then they never actually make a Batman movie, except for Matt Reeves, who was actually focused on making a Batman movie, even though he was still doing the thing where you're getting grounded. And I am going on a complete tangent in a One Piece stream about Batman, but it's... all of the movies always focus on the villains, and they don't focus on Batman. And if you're going to make a Batman movie, Batman has to be the most interesting character in the movie. Matt Reeves kind of got that. You know, and... but it's still not my Batman. It's not the Batman that I want. But at least he was a detective. He's got to be the smartest man in the world. That's the other key thing. It's the only thing that makes it work. I think I got to end this stream. I'm going, you know, we have to have our own, like, you know, like a completely separate thing where we go into all of this stuff. Azrael in a Batman movie would be pretty insane. Yeah, Court of Owls. I'm just glad there's, like, you know, we lost a bunch of people because I'm not talking about One Piece, but I'm glad, you know, for the people that are commenting, that are eating this up and indulging me as I talk about all of this. Because obviously, believe it or not, I like things that aren't just One Piece. Um, Shout out to my guy Ty, the super said, Captain, how do you reconcile how well written many of the animated DC movies have been compared to the live action counterparts? Is it just Hollywood ego? There is, from what I understand, there are certain individuals in Hollywood that own the live action rights to Batman. And those individuals are very obsessed with the idea of a gritty, like, human versus human Batman. So they have not greenlit a lot of these, like, bigger worldly, you know, like, more true to the comics Batman, which is why the DC animated movies get it right more often than the film adaptations. So it's more someone purchased the rights to Batman's rights back in the 80s, spent a very long time getting things off the ground for Batman 89. A lot of trials and tribulations to even make that happen. We got that. That person still owns the rights, and
Savage.
from what I know, everything's got to go through them in order to get off the ground, and most of the pitches for a
Savage.
less realistic Batman, a more comic accurate Batman, haven't actually been approved outside of what Zack Snyder was trying to do. And I'm hoping that what James Gunn is doing will bring it back to where it needs to be. Shout out to AJ, who's super and said 50K special movie talk with Randy. That'd be fun. I mean, hey, we're 41 now. Hopefully we can get to 50 before the end of the year or beyond it. Shout out to Vasil Vladivanovici, who says the Batman sequel has the perfect opportunity for Mr. Freeze. Are you talking about the Matt Reeves Batman? Well, a character that if I was making a Batman movie that I would introduce is Hush. And I think that they actually have the perfect opportunity for Hush in Matt Reeves' world. And they did kind of set up Tommy Elliott in the movie. So I think that that's what they're actually going to do. Although there is a rumor for Clayface. So I don't know. That might be the first element of weirdness that Matt Reeves tries to inject. Although I feel like tonally it'll be a little out of place if suddenly you go from the Riddler, Catwoman, and the Mob to, wow, things are wacky now. But it may be the only way to save things. But it also kind of feels like James Gunn is trying to block any more Matt Reeves Batman movies. I mean, he may not be. I may be speaking off base here, but I mean, they're not in production yet. I don't know what's going on with those scripts. They should have been in production for a while now, and I don't know if James Gunn is like, well, I don't want to confuse people when I make my Batman movie. So there may not be the Batman 2, but the Penguin show is still coming out, so that may go against what I'm saying. And Ty said, I second AJ's proposal. Well, we gotta get to 50K. Hush as a character has an opportunity to, really test not only Batman but Bruce Wayne and the duality of the character. So that's something that has always interested me. I've always said, that, if I was doing a trilogy, I think maybe this would be the second in a trilogy. I don't know if it would be the first, but I think if I had one shot to do a Batman movie, maybe I would do this. And it would be a Batman movie where it's Hush is the villain, and the secondary villain is Man-Bat. So you have a situation where Bruce Wayne, and it would be the version of Hush, the version of Tommy Elliot that has that is a serial murderer and has done plastic surgery on himself to make himself look like Bruce Wayne. So he's so obsessed with Bruce Wayne and their past and everything like that that he has physically turned himself into Bruce Wayne. And then he is giving Bruce Wayne the worst day of his life. So like he'll go around and murder some people. Maybe he kills, Alfred. Maybe he kills Lucius. I don't know. He's got to kill someone very close to Batman in order to make the movie like actually work. But then Bruce Wayne, actual Bruce Wayne, is on the hunt. There's a hunt for him because of whoever was murdered. So this person that was really close to Bruce Wayne is being killed, and the world thinks it was Bruce Wayne, and the cops are after Bruce Wayne. But at the same time, you have Man-Bat, who Kirk Langstrom is going around uncontrollably killing people as a bat. So the cops and everybody in the world are after Batman. So Bruce Wayne can't be Bruce Wayne, and he can't be Batman. So he's got to rely on the Bat family to do all of this extraneous detective work, while he is probably matches Malone in the underground, trying to understand who Kirk Langstrom is, because, finding the clues on that, and who this person that's ruining his life is, and the connection to his childhood that Tommy Elliot has. And that would be the Batman movie that I would make. And now this is recorded, so if someone steals that and makes it without me, they heard it here first. But can't copyright ideas. Brandon said to finish off with One Piece thoughts on the new volume cover. Love it. I featured it in the recent short that I put on the channel. And I don't think it's a top 10 cover or anything like that, but I think that it really works. Jen said, what about the Joker 2 musical, Randy? Looking forward to it. I'm concerned because it's a jukebox musical. If it was an original, then I'd be a little more interested. Like if they actually had all these original songs, then it would be something new and fresh. But instead it's going to be like the Trolls movie, where it's a bunch of just songs that audiences would know. And I think that there's an opportunity for it to get artistic and be really interesting, but I also think that Joker 1 was kind of a lightning in a bottle situation anyway. But again, the Joker movie was literally just Taxi Driver but Joker, and that's why it worked. So for them to make a Joker 2 work, it would have to be them copying an older movie again. If I was going to, I would have pitched, okay, just remake One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but now it's Joker. That's kind of what they set up with the first one, so it's gotta continue that. But I don't know. I'm gonna see it, but I don't know if it can reach the critical heights that the first one did. Even though I think that the response for the movie has waned since it's come out. Carmelo Smith says the Penguin series looks really good. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I've been avoiding any trailers. A good friend of mine plays one of Penguin's goons in 2 episodes. So I'm excited to see what they did for the show. So I've been avoiding trailers because I'm gonna watch it. AJ said, nah, Condiment King or Killer Quilt is next. Don't forget Kite Man. Yeah, I have Kite Man in there. That's gonna be the new Legion of Doom. Condiment King, Killer Quilt, Ratcatcher, and Kite Man. Oh yeah, throw Calendar Man in there. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap things up for today, but I had a lot of fun, especially all of this stuff that wasn't One Piece at the end of the stream was a lot of fun, and I'm gonna try and get a video out this week, but my work schedule is a little crazy, so I don't know if I have time to record and do something today, but I still want to get something out. So we'll see. We talked about a lot of really great stuff. This chapter reaffirmed a lot of my own theories and beliefs on the way belief itself works as a concept in One Piece. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards as far as any sort of video. And getting out the idea that we'll have a whole army of the most free individuals. So, Joy Girl has arrived. Neil said the Mad Hatter might be fun. Yeah, that would be fun. I do like the Mad Hatter a lot. That's a character that I think would be really interesting in live action as well. And I'd love to see Peter Dinklage as the Mad Hatter. That's who I'd cast. All right. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much, and I will talk with you soon. We will be back here for 11/19 next Sunday. All right. You guys have a great great week, and look out for any potential videos. And as always, like and leave comments to keep the algorithm happy, which it probably is not happy because I couldn't get a video out last week. All right. Later, guys.
Come with me if you want to live.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.